Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Okay, last video I did a topic on Mac Jones and how his card prices are overhyped. Now, that doesn't mean that I believe that Mac Jones is going to be a bad quarterback. And he did a pretty good job today. I was really impressed in how he played against the Titans. And long story short, before I get into my topic, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots do major damage in the playoffs this year. And Mac Jones' accuracy is pretty good. He may not be flashy, but that's why I like him. And speaking of speaking about Mac Jones, I wanted to look at quarterbacks, and I wanted to look at some of these quarterbacks over the past few years. And I'm looking at guys who are probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. A few of them are going to be first ballot Hall of Fame. Some of them may be Hall of Famers, maybe second, third ballot, but they're going to be in my opinion. And what I've noticed about these guys is that they tend to have high Wonderlic scores. And I talked about this in my last video and previous videos as well. And I will say it again. Quarterbacks that tend to do well in the NFL have higher Wonderlic scores, aka higher IQs, and that's helpful in an environment like today because the offenses are more complicated. Hence, that's why you probably see someone like Max Jones doing really well. Once again, a 4.0 student in math. Okay, just makes sense. He could understand the complicated schemes that Belichick and the offensive coordinator put together, Josh McDaniels. Anyways, I wanted to look at a few of these cards, and I'm going to look at a period of a few years, and I'm going to discuss what some of the community is saying about some of their cards. Okay, I'll start out with Russell Wilson. Okay, Russell Wilson's Wonderlic score. This is, by the way, his rookie 165. And I've said in previous videos, I was buying these cards for about $2 a piece, $2.50, maybe with shipping. I bought about 50 of them. This was 2019, by the way. And now, even if Russell Wilson is doing bad because of his injury, he looks sloppy, in my opinion. This card, you can still get maybe $15 to $20. And what's quite interesting is that earlier last year people were paying 50 to 60 bucks when he could have been the MVP of the league, but he didn't meet those standards of being the MVP. But he did have a pretty good first half of the year from my memory. Regardless, everyone talks about comps, and I wanted to look at the comps not from last year, not from 2 years ago, but from a few years back. And I want to look at how the market has changed from that time frame. A PSA 10 of this card at one point, according to a PWCC report, was $16. You could have gotten a PSA 10 slabbed card for $16. Now people are paying about $20 for a raw card. And I'm not knocking on Russell Wilson's talent. I'm just highlighting the fact that now the raw card costs more than what it used to cost a PSA 10 in a slab. That's crazy, okay? And what's more crazy is when people thought Russell Wilson had a chance to win the MVP, this card, I saw one sale on PWCC for $700. Now it's gone down to close to 200 bucks. And yeah, he's been injured. Yeah, he's been sloppy, so it makes sense why his card value has dropped. But I'm just saying it's huge decrease from 700 bucks to what, 200 bucks. But still, if someone bought the PSA 10 3-4 years back, you're paying $16. That's ridiculously cheap. And we haven't entered right now a huge bear market. We're seeing somewhat of a bear market, but if you see panic in the streets, this card could go below $100 and it could be really attractive. And in the off season though, too, before the huge panic comes, what will this PSA 10 trade at? That would be interesting. Maybe I may dabble into that. I may sell just all my raw cards before the season ends and just buy PSA 10 cards. And there seems to be a higher population count as well. That's the other thing too, because PSA is coming out with more cards now. So that's the other thing. Aaron Rodgers here. I showed you this in the other video. And a PSA 10 in this card from, 3-4 years back. You could have gotten maybe for $100. This is this 431. This is a 2005 card. And now you're paying maybe $700. There's some auctions ending soon, but one of the auctions, I believe on PWCC and on eBay, close to $700. At its peak, it was trading at $1,200. And yes, Aaron Rodgers has had injuries. Yes, Aaron Rodgers did win the MVP last year, like I said, but at the same time, they didn't win the Super Bowl, so they may have priced in a Super Bowl, but he didn't win a Super Bowl, so the price went down as well. There's off season, and then he had the virus, the media went after him, just stuff like that. But still, this card from a few years ago, $100 to about $700, it's still up 6-7 fold. Pretty damn good if someone had bought it at that time. And this Russell Wilson card, by the way, from $16 to close to $200, it's over a 10-fold increase. Close to 20, not 20-fold, but maybe 15-fold. That's pretty good still, if they had bought when no one else was buying. Now everyone started to chase starting, March of last year. And going back to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, he has a Wonderlic score of, I think, 35. So that's pretty high. So going back into the Wonderlic score. So they don't have that score anymore, but they used to do that to assess intelligence. And the offensive guys tend to have higher Wonderlic scores. I know someone said a comment about defense, but the smartest guys in the room are the quarterbacks, and then it's the O-linemen, because they need to understand the offensive side and the defensive side. And the quarterback, if they don't have a quarterback that can read defenses, that isn't smart, then they're not going to do well. It doesn't matter if they fit the prototypical height of a quarterback. Average height that I look at is usually 6'3" to 6'5". Russell Wilson, though, his height, I think he's 5'11", something like that. But he could run around, so that's how he could probably get around the fact that he's not tall for a quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is 6'2". Correct me if I'm wrong. But regardless, these two guys are definitely up there in terms of quarterback play. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, unless the media doesn't want to vote him in because of his political views or what he said on the McAfee show. Alrighty, the other card that I want to look at is Mr. Tom Brady. I showed you this yesterday. It's a number 236. So this card, like I said, 2013, $100. PSA 10, that's a PSA 10. This PSA 10 is close to 10,000. And yeah, Tom Brady's Wonderlic score is 33. So if you could just see these three quarterbacks, and I'm not looking at quarterbacks that are just new guys that may have high Wonderlic scores, such as Herbert has a high Wonderlic score, Josh Allen has a high Wonderlic score. There is Jordan Love, I know, has a higher Wonderlic score, but he didn't look too hot against the Chiefs a few weeks back. But if you just look at all these guys, Brady, Russell, Rodgers, the ones that are still playing, putting money in these guys, people have made money if as long as they bought before the hype. Now everything's all hyped up, and those that bought after 2020, they may be in trouble if they decide to hold for the long term. Granted, if they got a discount on it, then okay, that's a different story. But usually, what I would have done, like this year, I would have placed money in Mac Jones. That would have been my investment. Burrow seems to be an attractive pick as well, or a card to look into. But once again, the supply of all the cards in 2020 is still abnormally high compared to previous years. But if we were living in normal times where the population count wasn't too high, I'd look at Burrow, I'd look at Mac Jones. Those are two guys that I'm looking closely at right now that I believe will have really good careers. Herbert, I'm not too sure about with him playing the way that he does. He's probably going to get hurt a lot. You have Josh Allen. The way Josh Allen runs, I believe that guy is going to get pounded. He needs to be more in the pocket passer, just like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes could have a great career, but he needs to be more in the pocket guy and run when it's absolutely necessary, because the way that he ran against Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, he's not going to do well, in my opinion, if he plays like that. If he has a quick release of the ball, he's going to do really well. And there are a few other quarterbacks as well. There's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't have a high Wonderlic score, it's 13. And I suspect that he's doing well because he's able to run really well. He's a really good athlete. And that throws off the defense, and also probably the analytics that Harbaugh's team uses. I'm not sure if one of the baseball analytics guy is running the Ravens. I forget if it's the Ravens or the Browns now. But regardless, Harbaugh is a really good coach, so it helps. But for Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, to be very successful in the future, he needs to be more in the pocket passer, because eventually he's going to get older and he's not going to be able to run the way that he did a few years ago, which is crazy. You know, I saw some of the highlights. Very talented guy. But ultimately, he needs to be able to read defenses. Will he be? That is the question. Kyler Murray, same thing. Will he be able to read defenses? He isn't that tall for a quarterback as well. I think it's 5'10". And also his Wonderlic score is 21. So those are just some of the things that I'm looking at just for future investments on my part. I'm not going to pull the trigger on those guys now because everything is overinflated. But I'm waiting for pullbacks, and then I'll make my move. And like I said, two quarterbacks that I'm looking at very carefully right now are Mac Jones and Burrow. And if the price is right, I'm definitely going to be buying those QBs. But and also just for a speculative perspective, I don't even know the Wonderlic score of Zach Wilson, but maybe if they won today and against the Texans, and if Zach Wilson is able to put something together in the next few years, that may be very attractive because his card prices are very low right now because he's been injured, hasn't done too well, etc. There's low expectations on him. Expectations were really high early on, but now everyone's chasing Mac Jones. And that's not the time to chase Mac Jones, even if they go deep in the playoffs. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about that. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below. And the other thing is that I probably won't be doing too many videos this week. I'm going to be really busy. So I'll do what I can. And I'll talk to you later, guys. See ya. Bye.